Holy shit.
Alright guys, welcome to another video from XF Motorsports. We have a 370Z in today, which belongs to Joe. He was one of the first customers in the shop actually when I opened, but today he's back for a few upgrades on this car. We're going to be installing some sway bars on it, and engine mounts, transmission mount, and then stiffening up the rear subframe. So I'll let Joe talk about his experience with the car so far, and where he wants to go next.
The objective of today's modifications is just to make the car handle a little bit better than stock. I was finding in the corners it was leaning a bit too much, and the other items were just to make the engine deliver the power to the ground a little bit more efficiently than it has been doing. I'm not going crazy with the car, probably won't be tracking it at all, but I just want to make the car feel better on the street.
Yeah, so let's start off by, first installing the sway bars and the engine mounts, because that's going to be the easier part. The subframe mounts are going to be a little more involved because the whole subframe needs to come off. You need to cut those old mounts out sometimes, and that's why we want to leave all the messy work for the end. So yeah, let's actually make all those changes, see if Joe gets happy with all the changes, and yeah, see how the car drives after. So starting off by quickly showing you guys the car. So this is the 370Z from underneath, fairly clean actually. It's 2019, right? See, right now fully stock. These are the stock sway bars on it. I think the sway bars would be pretty easy to change. There's nothing much too involved in replacing them. And after that, yeah, the transmission mount is also going to be fairly easy. Engine mounts are going to be, I guess the top bolt is going to be a little tricky, but the bottom bolts are right there, so hopefully that's going to be not too difficult to replace either. The front sway bar is right here, and I think that one also comes off pretty easy, but the only trouble part in all this is going to be the subframe bushings, because for that the entire subframe does have to come off, and the subframe bushings actually, yeah, 2 of them are at the front and then 2 of them are at the back, and taking those out too, people say, is sometimes a lot of pain. Here's all the parts over here that we're going to be installing on it. So these are the $8 sway bars on it, fully adjustable of course. So the benefit of adjustable sway bars is that you can change the handling balance of the car depending on whether you want the car to understeer or oversteer. And then here's all the solid subframe mounts, the engine mounts and the transmission mounts. So yeah, quite a lot to do. Let's get straight to work and see how it all goes. Before starting work on the car, we decided to take it for a small test drive to feel the handling balance of the car. And sure enough, before making any changes, the car had a lot of understeer. It was only the front tires that were doing all the work in the corners. So we knew that we were trying to change the balance more towards oversteer to bring the handling balance more closer to a neutral balance. After that, Matt got to work on installing the rear sway bar and the transmission mount, and I got to work on installing the front sway bar and the engine mounts. Okay, so after quite a bit of struggle, the new engine mounts and the sway bars are in, and apart from the engine mounts, everything else was fairly easy. The sway bars are actually really easy because you have to remove nothing at all, it just comes out. But yeah, the engine mounts, the top bolts on the engine mounts was well, 90% of the work just getting those out, and the rest was easy. You just had to jack the engine up a little bit to put the new mounts in. The transmission mount, of course, is also replaced, and at the back, here's how everything looks with the new sway bar. We haven't installed the, of course, solid bushings for now on the subframe. We're leaving that for last. But for now, what we want to do is we want to take the car for a test drive. We have set the back ones to the stiffest setting, the front ones to the softest setting. This should give us, well, the most oversteer these anti-roll bars can give us, really. So we're going to see if that's enough oversteer for this car, if Joe's happy with the balance of the car. If not, if it's too much oversteer, then we can bring it back. We can change the anti-roll bar settings again, but let's actually drive it first, see if everything works well for this part of the upgrade, and then go from there and do the rest.
Holy shit!
Did you used to do that before?
Huh?
Did you used to do that before?
No, I've never done that. That's amazing.
It's pretty well balanced. It's like right at the edge.
Oh yeah, it's a lot more fun to drive.
You want to keep it this way, or you want to change the settings?
What's the downside?
The downside is it's a little harder to drive now. So now you actually have to watch out for the tail coming out. Or just turn traction control on, really, because then it doesn't let you slide anyways.
I think we should leave it like this.
I think so too. I would leave it like this. So after a week, the 370Z is back, and now it's finally time to get started on removing the subframe. I started recording a little late. Matt has already started the work on it. He's removed the exhaust, the wheels and tires, and a few things, but there's still quite a lot more to remove because, well, it is a bit of a long job. So next, he's removing the brake calipers. The parking brake lines need to come off. The ABS sensors, at least the wires from them, needs to be disconnected somewhere. And basically, yeah, everything that's linking the subframe to the car needs to come off. So it's a bit of a long job, but let's keep working on it. Let's see how long it takes to get it out, and then see what difference it makes. Here's a look at the subframe after it's out of the car, and we ran into a little bit of trouble while trying to get these bushings out. Well, most people said that they don't really come out in one piece. You have to burn them out and cut the metal inside it to take them off, and sure enough, even with us trying to use some different tools and to try to hammer it out, it's a really difficult thing because the subframe itself, like the sheet that holds it in place, it's not that thick, so if you use too much force on it, you can damage the subframe while taking it out. That's why we didn't want to take the chance. This way is probably going to be the easier or like safer way to go, just cutting the old ones out, and then after that we're going to be putting the solid ones in. Here's a look at the subframe after the mounts are all installed, and this was a bit of a painful job. Well, Matt is the one that did most of it.
It was fun.
What do you think? Easy?
Oh yeah.
You want to do a few more of these?
Hell yeah.
Alright, let's actually now get to putting it back in the car, which, well, hopefully at this point should be the easier part. Before putting the exhaust back on, since Matt and Joe really wanted to hear what this car sounds like without an exhaust, they decided to start it up and give it a few revs. Not too bad. That's a nice sound, actually. Okay, everything done with the car, the subframe with the solid mounts and everything is back together. One cool thing about these ones is that you can actually choose how many shims you want to put on top of the mounts. That way you can actually adjust your roll center and yeah, basically where you want your subframe positioned. And now that that's all in place, there's only one thing left to do. Put the car back down and take it for a test drive and see how it all does. Okay, so first test drive with solid subframe mounts. Let's see how the car does. You feel a difference? Oh, it feels stiffer. I think.
Yeah, it feels stiffer in the back for sure. When we just went over that bump.
Yeah. This is probably the best place to tell how your car feels, because like it's the bumpiest road ever. We have a good test drive over here. It feels solid. It feels planted. It doesn't even spin the wheels out.
Oh yeah, for sure. You can feel the back end is not as
Not as soft anymore. Oh. It feels more direct, no?
oh yeah.
What do you think?
It's the way it should have came from the factory. That's what I think.
Nice.
It's much better. It's way tighter. It feels way more planted. There's no body roll. When it takes off, it takes off. Yeah.
So you want to keep it this way?
Great. I think we achieved the objective.
Perfect. So that was everything for the 370Z. That has now left the shop, and well, it's left a pretty big mess behind for me to clean up. So pretty messy job, that one, but it was still incredible the difference it made on the car. The handling balance was perfect. Car handled really well. Joe was pretty happy with the results. He actually waited pretty long for these parts to come in, like 3 months or something, just because everything is taking pretty long these days to come in. But now that the shop is, well, a little free, I've put this car on the lift, so for the 2 days that I have the lift free, because I was working on a dry sump system for this car, but in the middle there was a whole rush of cars because of which I couldn't do anything on it. But now that I have a few free days, I really want to rush things on this car, get the whole dry sump system done. And also, while we were at it, we've made some really cool changes along the way. We've sped up the whole automated shifting transmission. And with the dry sump, we're going to be going back to the dyno really soon to retune the car to hopefully take it up to 700 wheel horsepower. So pretty crazy the changes that are coming up on this one, but I really need to rush things because summer's also running out, and I really want to get this car done before the summer ends and hopefully take it back on track to really see what the car does with all these new changes, and of course new tires too that are already here that I just need to put on. So you guys are going to see the next video on this car hopefully really soon. You're also going to see a video on that car, the E55. You've seen that before on the channel, but now it's back here for oil pump gears. I made these oil pump gears in a previous video that basically these E55s make an annoying whining noise when you start them up, and it's down to the oil pump itself. But someone requested me to come up with a solution for that, to make gears that wouldn't make that noise, and I came up with gears, but I've actually never shown a video on how to
properly install them in a car and the before and after. So with that car, I'm going to be doing that, making a full video on it. And I've also installed the same gears on my car as well, but for this car, I haven't started it after because I still haven't completed the dry sump on it. And also there's going to be a video coming up on this car really soon. We were finishing up on the twin turbo system on this car, the V12 by turbo. We were putting these massive Turbonatic turbos on it. There's a little bit of work left on it. Matt, another fabricator, was working on it. Well, you saw Matt in this video. I didn't introduce him in this video, but yeah, he's basically a mechanical engineer. He started over here because Stefan was away for a little bit. So he's doing some pretty cool fabrication work on this car and also on some other projects as well. So you're going to see more from him in future videos. So yeah, if you want to stay tuned with all these projects, definitely consider hitting the subscribe button, notification bell, and well, thanks for watching. I will see you in the next one.